Hello, dear listener. I know you have heard testimonies of people who God or angel has shown visions about the coming of Jesus Christ. I want to assure you that the testimony you will be hearing now is not just one of those. This is the story of a woman who never thought a single moment could change everything she believed about life and the return of Christ. What she experienced during a sudden medical emergency was not just a vision, it was a warning, because what she saw revealed a truth many people are not ready to face. So if you are listening to this, I want you to pay very close attention because this message concerns you. Now, listen as I share her testimony with you. Hello, Daily Renewal team. My name is Gloria. I'm 32 years old. I want to tell you something before I begin. I almost did not share this. I sat with what happened for a long time. I questioned it. I asked myself if it was real. I wondered if people would believe me. But every time I tried to move on and stay quiet, something inside me would not let me. Because what I saw was not just for me, it was a message. And if even one person hears this and wakes up before it is too late, then I have to speak. So here is my story. Before this happened, I lived what most people would call a normal life. I had goals, plans, and things I was working toward. I cared about how I looked, how people saw me, and whether I was moving forward. I tried to be kind. I tried to do good things. I volunteered sometimes. I helped people when it was easy. I said the right things in the right moments. But deep down, I know now that I focused more on the outside than the inside. God was not absent in my life, but He was not first. He was more like a background in my story rather than the center of it. I spoke about Him when it was easy or when it made me look good. I mentioned His name in conversations but did not truly live for Him when no one was watching. When things were going well, I thanked Him quickly and moved on. When things were hard, I called on Him. But when the storm passed, I went back to living for myself. There were things in my heart I ignored. Things I told myself were not serious. Small habits, hidden thoughts, patterns I kept repeating. I told myself I would deal with them later. I told myself I was not that bad. I looked at people doing worse things and told myself I was okay. I compared myself to others and felt comfortable. I thought I had time. I thought I would always have time. That was my biggest mistake. The day it happened, I had plans for that day. Just like everybody would do each day they wake up, I had no sense that anything was coming. There was no sign, no warning, nothing that told me this day would be different from any other. It happened suddenly. I remember feeling a strange pressure in my chest. It was not painful at first, just uncomfortable, like something pressing inward. I was standing in my kitchen when it started. At first, I ignored it. I told myself it was stress. I told myself I had been too busy lately and my body was reacting. I thought it would pass in a minute. But then it got stronger. The pressure became heavier. My breathing started to feel difficult, like the air was not moving through me the way it should. I put my hand on the counter to steady myself. I tried to take a slow, deep breath, but it did not help. My vision started to blur at the edges. I tried to stand straight. The filled, but my legs felt weak beneath me, like they could not hold my weight anymore. The room started to tilt. I reached out for something to hold on to, but my hands could not grip. My fingers felt numb. I remembered the sound of something falling. I think it was the cup I was holding. I heard it hit the floor. But I could not look down to see it, because by then, everything around me was already fading. I was slipping away. I could feel it. I could feel myself leaving, like a hand letting go of a rope, like water draining from a container. Something inside me was pulling loose from everything I knew. Then everything went completely dark. The next thing I knew, I was standing. I did not understand how I got there. One moment I was losing control of my body, and the next I was upright somewhere else entirely. But something felt wrong immediately. Something felt deeply, strangely wrong. I looked down at my feet. The ground beneath me did not feel solid. It felt soft, like sand. But it was not normal sand. It shifted slightly under my weight, almost like it could give way at any moment. Every time I moved even a little, I could feel the ground adjusting beneath me. It made me feel unstable, like I could sink if I stood still too long, like the surface I was standing on did not truly want to hold me. I looked around slowly, trying to understand where I was. What I saw looked like the world I knew, but it was not the same. Everything felt real. The colors, the shapes, the space around me. But it was also different in a way I cannot fully put into words. The air felt heavy, like it was carrying meaning, like every breath I took was filled with something more than just air. Like the atmosphere itself was speaking something I had not yet learned to hear. The light was different too. It did not come from one place. It seemed to come from everywhere, but it was not warm or comforting. It was revealing, like a kind of light that does not let things hide. Then I saw the houses, beautiful houses, large, expensive, perfect-looking homes lined up as far as I could see. The kind people admire when they drive through a wealthy neighborhood. Clean white walls, polished windows that caught the light, every detail at its place. Manicured lawns, perfect fences, ornate doors. Each one looked like it had been built with great care and great cost. I saw luxury cars parked outside each home, shining and untouched. The kind of cars people dream about. The kind that signal to the world that you have arrived, that you have succeeded, that your life is in order. Looking at it all, I felt something I recognized. That pull of admiration. That quiet desire that says, this is what a good life looks like. At first, everything seemed calm. The houses stood still. The cars sat quietly. The whole scene looked like a photograph of success. But then, something began to happen. One of the houses started to sink. It was slow at first, just a small shift. Like the ground beneath it had decided, quietly and without drama, that it would no longer hold it up. One corner dipped slightly, then the walls began to crack. Then more of it began to drop. The ground beneath it started to buckle and move, like it could not hold the weight anymore. I stood there watching, confused and afraid. Then suddenly the house sank deeper, like it was being swallowed by something beneath the earth. My heart began to race. I looked to my left. Another house had started sinking too. Then I looked to my right. Another. One by one, they all began to sink into the ground. Slowly at first, then faster. Some went straight down, some tilted and then collapsed inward before disappearing. It didn't matter how strong they looked. It didn't matter how expensive they seemed. It didn't matter how perfectly built they appeared. None of them could stand. Not one of them resisted. Each one fell the same way, as if the ground beneath all of them had been waiting for this moment. The cars followed. The same luxury cars I saw earlier began to sink into the ground, as if they had never been real in the first place. No resistance, no noise. They simply went down, like the earth was reclaiming what it was owed. I stood there, trembling, watching all of it disappear. And then I saw the people, well-dressed people walking through the scene. Confident people. People who looked like they had everything under control. Some were talking on phones. Some were carrying bags. Some were looking at their reflections in windows. Some were focused entirely on themselves and where they were going. They did not seem to notice what was happening around them, but then they also began to sink. Some noticed too late. They looked down and saw the ground shifting beneath their feet. They tried to run. Their legs moved fast, but the ground moved faster. Some reached for things around them, trying to hold on to whatever was near. Some grabbed at the walls of the sinking houses. Some grabbed at the cars. Some grabbed at each other. But nothing helped. Nothing could anchor them. The ground beneath them gave way, and one by one, they slowly disappeared beneath the surface. Some screamed. Some were silent, with expressions of complete shock on their faces. Fear filled my entire body. I wanted to run, but I did not know which direction was safe. I didn't understand what I was seeing, but I knew, deeply, that it was serious. I knew that it meant something. I knew I was supposed to understand something from this. Then I heard a voice, not through my ears. It did not come from outside me. It came from deep inside, like a thought that was not my own, like a word placed directly into the center of me. Clear, strong, unmistakable. It said, "Anything not built on truth cannot stand." Those words went through me like weight, like something heavy, placed on a scale that tips everything in one direction. I stood completely still. In that moment, I understood. This was not about houses. This was not about money or cars or the appearance of success. This was about life. This was about everything people trusted in, everything built for the wrong reasons, everything constructed without truth at its foundation. It would all fall. No matter how beautiful it looked on the outside, no matter how long it had been standing, no matter how proud someone was of it, if it was not built on truth, it could not stand, not in the end. Then suddenly, everything around me changed. The scene shifted like a page being turned. I found myself standing in the middle of a large crowd. There were so many people, hundreds, maybe more, men and women of different ages, different backgrounds. They stood close together, filling the space around me in every direction. They looked normal, calm, at peace with themselves. Some were smiling. Some had their eyes closed as if they were resting. Some even had an air of gentleness about them, like people you would want to be near. If I had seen them before, I would have thought they were good people, decent people, people living their lives well. But something about them was different. I noticed their hearts. Each person had a glowing veil covering their chest. It looked soft and beautiful, almost like a layer of warm light resting over their heart. From the outside, it looked perfect, clean, pure. It gave each person a kind of glow that made them appear wholly, untouched, unblemished. I remember thinking, this is beautiful. But then something changed inside me. It was like a lens had been placed over my eyes. Like something had opened inside me that allowed me to see past what was visible. I could suddenly see through the veil. And what I saw shocked me. Inside many of them, there were things that did not match the outside at all. I saw jealousy. It sat quietly behind smiling faces. Jealousy toward people they loved. Jealousy toward people they pretended to support. Quiet, hidden jealousy that had never been confessed or dealt with. I saw pride. Deep, stubborn pride. The kind that does not call itself pride. The kind that disguises itself as confidence or standards or self-respect. But underneath, it was pride. The kind that refuses to bow. The kind that refuses to be corrected. I saw bitterness, old bitterness. Some of it had been carried for years, wounds from a long time ago that had never been healed, only buried under smiles and Sunday mornings and kind words, but still there, still alive, still doing damage. I saw anger pressed down beneath calm faces. I saw secret thoughts that no one would ever say out loud. I saw hidden struggles, private sins, double lives, things they had convinced themselves were not that serious, things they had promised themselves they would deal with eventually. I felt a deep sadness as I looked at them, not judgment, not disgust, sadness, because they looked so fine on the outside, and yet inside there was a completely different story being lived. Then something happened. The veils began to tear. One by one, it started slowly. A small crack, like cloth beginning to split at a weak point. Then the crack spread. Then the veil tore open, and everything inside was exposed. No covering, no protection, no disguise. Everything was visible. It happened to everyone around me. People began to panic. Some dropped to their knees immediately, crying out. Some tried to cover themselves with their hands, as if physical covering could do what the veil no longer could. Some tried to run. They pushed through the crowd, desperately looking for a place to go. But there was nowhere to go. Every direction was the same. The light was everywhere. The exposure was complete. Nothing was hidden anymore. Nothing. Then I realized something that stopped my breath entirely. I looked down at myself. I also had a veil. My heart started racing in a way I had never felt before. Not just fear, terror. A deep, personal terror. I did not want it to tear. I did not want my inside to be seen. Not because I was ashamed of everything, but because I knew what was in there. I knew what I had ignored. I knew what I had buried. I knew what I had kept carefully out of sight, even from myself, but I could not stop it. The veil over my own heart began to crack. Slowly at first, then it tore open, and everything inside me was exposed. Every hidden thought I had dismissed as harmless, every selfish motive I had dressed up as something noble, every moment I chose comfort over truth. Every time I turned away from something God was asking me to face, every compromise I had made quietly, telling myself it was just once, it was just small, it didn't really matter. It was all there, fully visible, fully known. I felt completely exposed, completely undone. Tears filled my eyes, and I felt something I had never felt so deeply before. A feeling that went into the deepest part of me and sat there like a stone. Regret. Not regret because someone else had seen me, but regret because I knew the truth. I had been given time. I had been given chances. I had heard things that were supposed to change me. I had felt things that were supposed to move me. And I had let all of it pass. I had told myself later. I had told myself soon. I had told myself I was mostly fine. And now I stood exposed, knowing that time had been a gift I did not take seriously. Then suddenly, everything stopped. Completely. The people froze. The movement in the crowd stopped. The crying stopped. The running stopped. Even the sound seemed to pause. The air became so still it felt like time itself had come to a halt and was waiting. I looked around, confused. The stillness was not peaceful. It was weighted. Like the moment before something enormous happens, like the silence at the edge of a cliff. Then I slowly looked up. The sky began to change. It split open, not like a storm, not like clouds parting. It split like a seam being pulled apart, and a powerful light broke through the opening, so bright, so overwhelming that I had to shield my eyes. It was not like sunlight. It was not like anything I had seen before. It carried presence. It carried authority. It felt like something that had always existed beyond the sky. And now, finally, it was breaking through. Then I heard something. Not through my ears. Through my soul. A trumpet. One sound. One clear, powerful, piercing sound that went into every part of me. It did not just reach my ears. It reached my chest, my bones, my spirit. It shook everything inside me that could be shaken, and then I saw what happened next. Graves began to open. Everywhere around me, in the ground, in the distance, in every direction, and people began to rise. Their bodies were different, transformed in a way I cannot fully describe. They were alive in a way that felt more alive than anything I had ever seen in my life. Fully present, fully awake. Fully themselves, but renewed. Then I saw others. People standing nearby, people in the crowd, suddenly being changed. In a moment, faster than a breath, something left their bodies and rose upward into the light, one after another. Fast, without hesitation, without delay. It happened in moments, the kind of moments that do not wait. I tried to move toward them, but I could not. My feet would not leave the ground. My body would not rise. I was stuck. Watching, while all around me, people were leaving. Fear hit me harder than it ever had. Then the thought came into me like a blade. What if I am not ready? The fear became deeper, more specific, more personal. Not fear of what was happening. Fear of what it meant for me. Fear that I had spent my life building the wrong things. Fear that what was inside me had not been dealt with. Fear that I had waited too long. Then the voice came again. Clear, more urgent than before. This is how quickly it will happen. My heart dropped. Then, you must choose now. At that moment, everything inside me broke open. Every wall I had built, every excuse I had prepared, every convincing argument I had made to myself about why I was fine, it all fell. At once, I felt regret deeper than anything I had ever felt. Regret for the years I spent building things that had no foundation. Regret for the time I wasted on appearances while my inside went unattended. Regret for every moment I kept God at arm's length because I wanted to live on my own terms. Regret for the things I knew were wrong and chose to keep anyway. Regret for the people I was too proud to forgive. Regret for the truth I heard and did not act on. I did not want to be left behind. I did not want to miss it. With everything inside me, I wanted another chance. I wanted to go back. I wanted to make it right. I wanted to do differently. Everything I had done carelessly. Then suddenly, everything disappeared. I felt a strong pull, violent and fast, like a cord snapping me backward, like I was being dragged back through something I had crossed without knowing it. Then, I opened my eyes. I was back in my body, back on the floor of my kitchen. I started breathing fast. My chest hurt. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. There were people around me. Someone was calling my name. Someone was touching my shoulder. Someone was on the phone, but I could not focus on any of it because I knew what I had seen was real. It was not a dream. Dreams fade when you wake up. This did not fade. This stayed in full detail, fully present, fully clear. Every image, every word, every feeling, all of it was with me the moment I opened my eyes, and it has never left me. Since that day, I have not been the same. I spent time after my recovery being still, sitting with what I had seen, praying in a way I never had before, not reciting words, not going through a routine, actually talking to God like someone who finally understood what they had been taking for granted. I went back to things in my heart that I had ignored. I did not rush past them. I sat with them. I asked God to help me see them clearly and to help me deal with them honestly. It was not easy. Some of what I found inside me was not pleasant to face, but I faced it because I had seen what happens when we don't. I worked on my relationships. There were people I needed to forgive, not because I deserved it, but because I had seen what bitterness looks like on the inside of a person, and I did not want that in me. There were people I needed to ask forgiveness from. I humbled myself and did it. Pride tried to stop me, but I had seen what pride looks like when the covering is removed. I stopped building for show. I started asking different questions. Not just what do I want, but what is true. Not just what looks good, but what will last. I still have goals. I still have a life to live. But now I know what foundation it needs to be built on. I want to speak to you directly now. If you are hearing this or reading this, I want you to hear what I am about to say, not as a story about someone else, but as something meant for you. We are all building something. Every day we live, we are building. We are building our character, our habits, our inner life, our relationships, our future. And every single thing we build will one day be tested, not by people, not by circumstances, by truth itself. If what you are building is not grounded in truth, it will not stand. It does not matter how much effort you put in. It does not matter how impressive it looks. It does not matter how long it has been standing. If the foundation is wrong, the fall is coming. And what is hidden inside you is not going to stay hidden. This is not a threat. It is a reality. Everything done in secret will one day be known. Everything buried beneath a calm face and a polished life will one day be uncovered. The veil will tear, and what is inside will be visible. The question is not whether it will be seen. The question is whether you will deal with it now, while there is still time, or whether you will wait until it is too late to do anything about it. I know what it is like to tell yourself you are mostly fine. I know what it is like to compare yourself to others and find comfort in that comparison. I know what it is like to keep God in your life without actually putting Him first. I lived that way for years. But I also know now what is at stake. Do not wait. Whatever is in you that you have been avoiding, face it now. Whatever bitterness you have been carrying, release it now. Whatever pride has been keeping you from surrendering, let it go now. Whatever double life you have been living, end it now. Not because you will be perfect, not because you have to fix everything before you can come to God, but because the moment to decide is now, not someday, not when things settle down, not when you feel ready. Now. Because the truth I saw in that place was this: the moment comes without announcement. It does not send the letter ahead of time. It does not wait for you to be ready. It comes the way my medical emergency came, suddenly, with no warning, in the middle of a normal day. And when it comes, there will be no time to prepare. There will only be what you already are. That is why I am telling you this, not to frighten you into action, but to tell you the truth, because truth is the only thing that can actually help you. Turn to God, not the version of Him that fits your comfort, the real God, the one who sees everything inside you and still offers grace to everyone willing to come honestly. Fix what is hidden, not for anyone else, for your own soul. Build on truth. Every day, in small decisions and large ones, choose what is real over what simply looks good, and do not tell yourself you have all the time in the world. Because I stood in a place where that lie is fully exposed, and I came back to tell you, the time you have is now. Everything real will remain. Choose wisely while you still can. Dear beloved, thank you for listening to this powerful testimony. My sincere prayer for you is that you will not make a wrong choice. The coming of our Lord is near. Let us prepare ourselves to receive Him. It might seem far, but believe me, it's near. Thank you once again for watching. If this testimony blessed you in one way or the other, please kindly like this video. Share it with someone you love so much. Also, don't go without subscribing to this channel so that anytime we post a new content like this one, you will be the first to see it. May God bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.